Hey, good evening, guys. Hope everybody had a great week and we're gearing up for the weekend. A lot of you is going to be enjoying some pretty warm weather. So, with the kickoff of the summer coming up here, I wanted to bring up a wildly popular topic of conversation, and that is what the heck is silver doing right now? It's kind of been shimmying around 23, 24 bucks an ounce ever since it had its big fall off I think last Monday or so. So a lot of you have probably had time to go out and try and scour as much silver as you possibly could, and it's not easy because a lot of a lot of silver is still trading at a ridiculous premium. You guys are probably looking for stuff like this, Silver Eagles, and they're trading, anywhere from $3 to $4, $5, $6, $10 more than spot. So it's kind of ridiculous. This is kind of a bad example because this is a proof. These typically sell for like $60, but I wanted to just bring up a point. So what is the next big step? The next, I guess, plan B, so to speak, and that would be junk silver. It's real simple. Anything 90%, 80%, if you got some Canadian, 40%, if you have half dollars and some quarters, are all great examples of what junk silver is. And the junk silver, more than likely, it's circulated, or they have tremendously high mintage values. For example, the 1964 dimes and quarters certainly fit that bill to a T. So, with that being said, one of the more readily available, in my estimation, especially in the area where I live, is the silver dollars, whether it be Peace, Morgan, anything that carries a silver content value that is pretty close to its numismatic value as the grade goes down. Today we're going to focus on Peace dollars. Peace dollars, there's a tremendous need for them, not only for the silver, but as a collecting value type of investment. There are several key dates to consider. So if you are out there looking for scrap silver and there are silver dollars, I want to personally illustrate a few key dates that you absolutely must look for because they are out there. And I'm a preface it with a little story. A buddy of mine owns a couple cash for gold stores here in the Bay Area, and he's received several key dates, and not only the Peace dollars, but in many other different types of series. So for this particular segment, we're going to focus on Peace dollars. Okay, here's the first example. This is the most common date. It's a 1922. All right, these are stored in a 2x2, so you get the reflection of the camera and probably my hand. How about if I do this a little so the light would go down onto the devices? That's a Peace dollar. You guys have seen these quite often when they're in low grades and a higher mintage value like this 1922. They are common and they hover right around spot. Or actually, some of them trade at spot. But junk silver has been trading at a premium, not as high as like Silver Eagles or Maple Leafs. So 1922, most common. You're really not going to hit a huge premium on these unless you get a high graded example with nice radial luster, some nice cartwheels on there. This particular example is a 22D. Okay, the mint mark is right underneath the word 1, embedded in a couple of those sun rays right there at the tail end of the eagle. All right, so 22D, extremely common. Another common date that you'll see plenty of, 1923. Millions of these were produced. This one is a lot better shape, and this will help illustrate what the luster would look like on a higher end Peace dollar. Again, this one trading at a very little premium because it is a common date. This one I believe is a 23S. In spite of the mint mark, very much common. All right, so you're probably going to see a lot of those when you go through a little junk bin or pail. This is a 26S. Now we're getting into a little bit, lower mintage, more availability, but at the same time, it's still a common date. There's only a few dates within the series that command quite a bit more money, and we'll get to those here soon enough. So that's a 26S. Okay, the mint marks are tiny on these. Wherever you're at, these are probably trading, I think, anywhere from like $29 to $32 a piece. Here's getting into a little bit more tougher date. This is a 25S. This one's in great shape. Okay, so this one, if you see something like this, definitely pull this one aside. Even in a lower graded piece, you'll get a few bucks more than you traditionally would for something that's of melt value. Okay, and then next example here, this is a 35S. Now we're really getting into the more tougher dates. This one right here, there's been, 1.6 million of these produced in its day. And it's the final date in the Peace Dollar series. I think when the U.S. decided to restart a big dollar coin program, there's been speculation, of course, at the time that 1964 varieties of the Peace Dollar were produced at one point, but were all melted. Excuse me. So there are some people that believe that there are examples that exist of the 1964 Peace Dollar. So if you see one in a junk type of atmosphere at your local LCS or your local coin shop or brick and mortar, or even at a show, if it's sitting, in a pile of scrap value type pieces, look out for something like that. Okay, so now we're going to get into the toughest dates in the piece series. And this is a 1921. They call this a high relief because the strike on it, the die that was used, okay, had higher relief devices on it. It actually sticks out more. You have kind of a deeper dish kind of recess to the rim area. Absolutely beautiful coin in a higher grade example. This one's like a VF. And a VF example in this particular one's about $150. So there is just shy over 1 million of these produced. A buddy of mine found 2 or 3 of these in a recent dump off. A customer came and dropped off $500 face in Peace and Morgan dollars, and there was actually 3 of these in there. Okay, so this is one of the key dates to look for, along with the 35S and 1921. Okay, that's the first year minted. And following to 1928. This is the cream of the crop. This is the key date in the series. My Cash for Gold buddy found one of these as well in a lot rougher shape. But even in this shape right here, where this coin has obviously been cleaned, and you can tell because there's hairlines here in the fields. And you can see a lot of the old toning that's deep within the protected areas of the devices. So that's one of the telltale signs of a cleaned Peace Dollar, because while this one's a little bit lower relief, it hides the details real well. It's got deeper design devices on it. 1928. This is a Philly, so you want to make sure the Philadelphia, which will have no mint mark, this will be the rarest at only 360,000 made. So if you do find one of these, more than likely you're going to find it in a group that someone is selling private party. You're probably not going to see this really at a dealer or a show. If you do, it's just going to be, lady luck on your side. This coin in its current position, the grade, $400, $400 or $500, easy. It's a very sought after date. So that wraps up the Peace Dollar series. When you're going out to look for scrap, junky type of stuff, I've talked about some of the major key dates. There are other dates represented as well, like the 27S, a little bit lower mintage, more money. Like the 22, 23, 24s, and then once you get up into the mid-20s, okay, there's still a lot of common dates. But at least it'll give you guys a general idea of some of the dates you should pull out and sell separately. It's a good way of making money. And whatever you guys are doing, take advantage of this market, because who knows how long it's going to last. Thank you for tuning in, and you guys stay tuned for the next one.